Hey, 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 what's going on? It is me. Listen, it's your girl, Pastor PG. You're viewing this from LaShonda Solomon Robinson page. If you're on TikTok, make sure it's over 66K followers. So you make sure you're on the right page. If you're not on that page, block them and find the real me. Nevertheless, I'm going to bless y'all on this Saturday. Get ready to run errands. But God always give me a word that I preach before that ministers to a situation that I have going on now. I'm telling you something, the Bible never gets boring. 2 Kings 4 talks about a woman, and she makes a bed for the prophet Elijah, and he wanted to do something for her kindness. And so he asked his servant, he said, well, what can we do for her? And the servant began to tell him, look, she's a well-off woman. She got everything she needs, but she don't have a baby. So he begins to prophesy to this woman. He said, about this time next year, you're going to have a baby. You're going to be able to hold your own. And she began to tell him, look, don't make me no promises that you can't keep, because she didn't want to get her hopes up high. So it happens that a year later, she has a baby. And the baby is out in the field helping the father. And the baby said, my head, my head. So the father sends him back in with this mother. And what she does, she lay him in the same bed that she had already prepared for the prophet for when he come to town. And she goes out to the husband. He's like, what's going on? She said, all is well. She said, get me a young man and get me a donkey and saddle him. Because get what? She needed to go to the man that made her the promise. And he sends her a young man. They go and they ride. And as she's going, she finds the prophet. And the servant runs out before her, and she begins to tell him all is well, because she didn't know she was prophesying to her situation before she got the man of God back to the situation. And sometimes you got to see some good stuff even in a bad situation. So she approaches the prophet and she begins to tell him that I need you at my house. He goes with her, closes up the door, and stretches out on the baby. And guess what? The baby came back to life. What I'm telling you, you got to be like Luke. Luke said, don't stop. Get it, get it. You got to ride this thing out and get to the person, which is God, that made you the promise. You will not abort. You will not miscarry. This thing will not be stillborn. I declare and decree that on this Saturday, oh God, help me, Jesus, that you're going to ride this thing out. Don't stop. Get it, get it. God has gave you a promise, and baby, you got to make sure that your baby lives, and not only lives, you got to make sure that you still produce in this season. Man of God, I know the odds are stacked up against you. Woman of God, I know it feels like you in this by yourself, but when God gives you a promise, my God, you got to ride this thing out. And if she would have never rolled this thing out, her baby would have died. She would have been preparing for a funeral instead of celebrating a resurrection. I don't know who needs to hear this, but baby, don't stop. Get it, get it. You got to ride this thing out. I feel this on today. If y'all want a part two, just say part two me. There's so much meat in this message. I only stopped in your news feed, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok, to tell you don't stop. Get it, get it. You got to ride this thing out. And your baby shall live and not die. I got to go. Y'all make sure you follow this page, LaShonda Solomon Robinson, on TikTok. Oh, God, repost this. Let me get 100 reposts on this sanctified, saturated Saturday. I got to go. I got errands to run. This pollen is killing me. But nevertheless, I'm glad you tuned in. Keep strolling. Peace.